Hello, everybody, and today we are going to be reading His Infatuation Slasher's Ex Listener, book 3 up in here. Now, before we get fully started, I hope each and every one of y'all had an amazing new year, new you, or new year, same you, whichever perspective or concept you'd like to take. I'm so happy and so thankful that you guys are all here and into the new year. Woo! I can't believe it's already 2025. Like, damn, it makes me feel old. Man, that makes me feel so old. Like, this channel has been here for so long to me, but at the same time, I'm like, wow. And I'm literally just getting started. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, I was like, wow, I cannot wait to be getting into this new year. New year, new hopes, new inspirations, new taking risks, and blah dee dee da dee da. And more stories for us to read, y'all. So excited. But before we get into the new stories, let's catch up on one that some people have been begging for me to read that I was not able to catch up on fully because I got so sick. And I watched my video beforehand, last year. Oh no, my voice sounded horrendous. Let's just keep it that way. But I had to give y'all an update before the year ended, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, without further ado, let's get into the story. We are currently in chapter 54, Wanna Play, but we is gonna go back a chapter for the purpose of the recap. So, long story short, getting into this recap, you called Freddie in, you started arguing with him in your room or whatnot, blaming him for potentially, well, not potentially, but you guys know what I mean if y'all have been following long enough, that accusing him of messing with you and moving the doll around and doing what, like he shouldn't be doing with the doll in the first place, right? And it was freaking you out. You were getting scared. La di da di da. You guys were arguing. Eventually, what's his name? Oh my goodness. Norman. Sorry, Norman. Stepped in because you were taking longer than expected, and he wanted to see what was happening because he heard some noises. Then eventually, with more arguing, Kruger and Norman got into it. Kruger / Norman, you were really worried. Hannibal stepped in, so did Miguel. You explained the situation to Hannibal. It was a whole little mess. It was literally like a whole mess of arguing. People, Norman, Hannibal, everyone being worried about you and your mental health, and just it is horrendous. Eventually, you went with Hannibal, asked Hannibal to help you with Norman and fixing up his wound because he did receive a slash, kind of deep, whatnot. Eventually, y'all did all that. And while y'all doing all that, uh, y'all know how Kruger is. He literally just left. He just said, whatever, and just went away. And before you could say, wait, you're like, corazón, it's like a damn near telenovela when he disappears dramatically when he's mad at us. It's funny, but it was like, wow, so much has happened to this point. It's crazy. It is crazy. But yeah, overall, yeah, he left um your think of it as your toxic ex would leave you whatever, I'm right, whatever, just leaves. I don't know. Hopefully you guys have never had toxic ex. I would not wish that on anybody. But anywho, before you get fully into it, if there is any, let's get into the warnings. For warnings, getting into the story, there will be mentions of crazy amount of arguments, and I mean a lot of arguments. Manipulation. Mostly, I would say from Freddie and Hannibal, but there might be more. Threats. Ugly ass doll. I guess you guys can guess who I'm speaking of. And attempted murder? Question mark. Failed? I don't know, y'all. I really don't know. I would say there were probably more warnings, but remember, y'all, this is a slasher fanfic. all sorts of stuff can happen here. Anywho, y'all been warned. Chapter 54. Wanna play? Try to ignore Kruger's infantile way of behaving. I usually do. Hannibal respectfully remarked, trying to politely lighten up the mood after the dream demon had sulkily left. He can't help but act like a complete and utter child from time to time, I'm afraid. Still, I can't help but feel like that doll has something to do with his underlying frustrations, you worriedly pointed out, knowing that, just like your devotion to Pennywise's situation, something wasn't right tonight. Something was wrong. Well, at least Norman's injuries seemed to be relatively patched up overall. The psychiatrist summarized pleasantly, pushing the med kit back into the bathroom cupboard before finishing off the other killer's bandaging. All he needs now is some rest and recovery, due to the sadistic shoulder slashing and unexpected ambush. Oh, I see. Thanks. You replied gratefully, giving Hannibal a warm, hearted hug once you thanked him for his genuine help. Then I appreciate Then I appreciate your intelligent insistence and current insight. Of course, Mammoth, any time. Shooting you a soft smile in response, he took no notice of Norman whatsoever, disregarding his presence and deciding to show you back to your bedroom instead. I'm more than happy to help you with anything you may need, YN. Please do remember that. Aw, thank you. I definitely will. You kindly smiled back, deciding to behave friendly in return and feel relieved after his polite mannerisms. I might actually get a pleasant night's sleep for once, considering I've decided to actually take some Hypocil. Oh my, what a devious little decision. Coming from you all of a sudden. Hannibal chuckled in amusement, finding your mischievousness to be devilishly entertaining. Please do be careful, however. I wouldn't want you to get hurt merely due to Kruger's inhumane jealousy. Ugh, Kruger's such a child. Norman muttered under his breath moodily, rolling his eyes and therefore making you raise your eyebrows at his resentful remark. Norman, you have no room to talk when it comes to Freddy's previous actions. You sarcastically told him off, releasing a sigh before sitting on top of your bed and watching the dark-haired male enter your bedroom like usual. Ryan does have a point there, Norman. If anything, your behavior is even worse than his when it comes to childish. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? The timid slasher snapped back tearfully, clenching his fist whilst clutching them against his chest at the same time. You're the one who's pretty petty around here. I helped Ryan fix you up just now. Hannibal smoothly commented, reminding Norman of his former assistants before crossing his arms and flashing him a subtle smirk. Remember? To be perfectly honest, I'd hardly call that being petty. Oh, please, give me a break! Norman shouted at him with an unstable and strained tone, now angry at Hannibal as well as Kruger. Everyone around here only knows that you did that just to look good. I'd say you're both idiots. Pennywise chipped in casually, leaning against your bedroom's wall and glaring at not just the other two, but the doll too. We have a much bigger problem to deal with, rather than Kruger's babyish lack of intelligence, and everybody else's slow-witted stupidity. A much bigger problem to deal with. Such as? The psychiatrist curiously quoted, tilting his head to the side a tiny bit whilst he questioned the evil clown's sharp words. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm certainly growing bored of this laughable, ludicrous, empty-headed piece of plastic. Penny clicked carelessly insulted, shifting his glare back at the toy one last time before vanishing into thin air, just like Freddy currently had. Wait, Penny! You called his name in alarm, your eyes widening from his glare in cold hatred. It's nothing but a doll! Try not to worry about him. He'll come around. Besides, I think it's all coming to become fairly late. For you at least, dearest. Hannibal sweetly commented, mentioning the time and pointing out how exhausted you'd quickly grown over the last couple of hours. But he seemed so distressed over the doll, just as much as, before you could finish, Mikhail glared hatefully at the toy also, most of your partners now disliking and distrusting the plaything. Once they stared down the strangely soul-powered doll and realizing what talents truly laid inside. Come on, Ryan, I think we should really get some sleep now. Grasping your wrist gently, Norman lightly steered you away from those two and closer to your bed instead. Hannibal wishing you a soft-hearted good night, while Mikhail frustratingly left the room. The stalker still picking up on how you still hadn't regained any trust. Yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. You responded in a faint fashion, stifling a yawn before giving them a wave and shutting everyone out except Norman, due to him sometimes sleeping in the same bed with you. Falling asleep with Hypocil and therefore infuriating Freddy even further, you slept perfectly fine for the first time in a while, gaining rest just as well as Norman, but waking up prematurely because of more stress from last night. Sighing and sitting up and brushing unwanted bedhead strands of hair straight out of your face anyway. Brilliant. You'd slept without any night terrors, but woke up early and realized that you'd also forgotten to move the doll back on top of your dresser. Standing up and deciding to do just that. Or had you forgotten to move him back? Had he moved again? You couldn't even tell by this point. You gained a freaking headache after all of this time. Stepping towards the doll as you picked him up, but the moment you decided to pick him up with both hands, this thing made up his mind to actually speak for once. His unanticipated actions causing you to jump and almost drop the astonishing toy hurriedly afterwards. You can talk? You gasped aloud. Shock spreading across your gaze, whilst your entire body's veins suddenly flooded with fear. I don't understand. There's just no way. That's just not possible. Is it? Hi, I like to be hugged. He brightly greeted a second time, his words making you freak out and speedily hushed the doll again. Shh, hush, hush. You freaked out with a high-pitched tone, attempting to silence him so you didn't wake up the sleeping Norman. Please, you have to be quiet. There has to be an answer for this. Like there are hidden batteries in you or something. So after swiveling him around with both hands, you used your right hand to push up his little rainbow-colored shirt, revealing a little plastic door labeled "Batteries go here." Curious, you pushed it to the side and released the latch, snapping open said plastic door as you became extremely interested in what actually lay behind the doll's back. Of course, the doll had a battery case. Most toys do. But it was empty. This strange plaything had not only talked to you, and switched in several spots, but without any batteries inside himself too. The doll's head speedily spun a complete 180-degree turn, so now he was staring up at you from between his shoulder blades. His eyes eventually snapped open, whilst his mouth finally opened. He then spoke his third and final phrase, his last sentence sounding genuinely frightening to you. Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play? Chapter 55. The Lakeshore Strangler. With widened eyes, you suddenly became shocked, coming to the conclusion that the doll was simply supernatural, and that Miguel wasn't the freaky pervert that you had previously made him out to be. But after you'd realized the so-called Chucky was, the supernatural toy started to strangle you. Said child's play doll causing you to shriek and send him flying across your bedroom as you accidentally woke Norman up as well. Shaking, you pointed anxiously towards the direction of the doll and panicked frantically about the underlying soul power, now stressing over the doll as your trusting slashers came rushing in to protect you. Relieved, you calmed down and began to relax yourself. Chucky pretending to act innocent and attempting to revert back to his natural form. However, you were having none of it, wandering over to him before crouching down timidly beside the male toy. Brian, what's wrong? What's the matter? Freaking out, Norman slid out of the bed and stood up frantically, frightened by not only your son's scream, but your fearful reaction too. Yeah, what the fuck was that all about, huh? Freddy explained in irritation, narrowing his eyes and glaring at the doll directly afterwards. Is everything alright, mi Florino? Walking in, Hannibal gently placed his hand on your shoulder and spoke to you as softly as he could. Sorry, I gotta control myself. Piecing together what had happened almost immediately as he stood right next to you. Uh-huh. You stammered with some surprise, your eyes still wide from horror, while you decided to squat down beside the Chucky doll. Just a little. Stunned by something, that's all. Stunned by something. By what? Teleporting into your room at the sound of the speed of sound, Pennywise quoted your words curiously, eyeing the good guy doll with suspicion, while he carried on making sure that nothing else hurt nor strangled you any further. You're the one who threw Mikael under the bus, now aren't you? You determinedly told Freddy off. Freddy! Fuck. Chucky off. I'm just so used to Freddy fucking up all the time, guys. You determinedly told Chucky off, frowning due to how his past behavior. Aren't you? We're friends to the end, remember? Chucky reminded you cheerfully, bringing his arms up and pretending to want to give you a hug, a cuddle, instead of previously trying to strangle you. I'd say this is the end, friend. You quietly huffed, rolling your eyes and feeling sarcastic in the process. Unless you want to talk to me again and come to life, I'll throw you straight out of the window. You understand me, Chucky? I really don't think threatening him is a very good idea there, YN. Hannibal. When you're in a house, right, and you live with how many killers? I think it's okay to threaten this little doll. I think it's okay. Hannibal commented comfortingly, his pleasant tone calming you down within a minute or two. I'd say it's probably best that you humor him and hug him for a couple seconds. At least a couple. I don't know. You uneasily decided, trailing off as you became somehow unsure and reluctant. I mean, this is the being who lied about Mikael and made me believe that this was all his fault. And you expect me to merely hug him back? You stupid bitch! I'll teach you to fuck with me! Threaten me again! I fucking dare you! See what happens! You won't like it! I guarantee it! Suddenly, shouting on his own once more, Chucky threatened you and returned maliciously, stomping his foot on the ground before clenching his fists together and staring you up with the utmost of frustration. Oh, I'm sorry. I really am. I really didn't mean to fling you. Laughing a little, you relaxed a tiny bit and even apologized to the plastic toy, raising your hands up afterwards towards the doll as you felt relatively bad. It was really out of impulse. I just didn't expect you to talk. Well, what the fuck did you expect? The red-haired doll smugly responded, holding up his signature weapon, a knife, after his prior strangling attempt. Sometimes I even scare myself with that one, so don't fuck with Chuck. So you've been the one who's been moving? Well, you around? Norman brought up coldly, bringing up Mika's familiar white mask before shoving it entirely into the toy's original face. What's your problem with me then? Go ahead and shoot me. I'll be back, I always come back. Chucky snapped out Norman with a hateful tone, smacking the mask instantly back into the dark-haired male's face before starting to argue with him. Wait! You wildly exclaimed, stopping the doll from exploding and violently losing his temper. Why? I'm one of the most notorious slashers in history, and I'm not gonna give that up. He retaliated in a resentful manner, irritated by Norman as he began to yell back at him. I realize that you have pride. I get that. You answered truthfully, wanting to calm everyone down and stop the situation from expanding any further. Well, if you see that, then why don't you fucking understand? I understand. I can understand. You interrupted him awkwardly, now feeling embarrassed about how this conversation was going and biting your lip at the very same time. I might not be a slasher or a serial killer, but I can see where your pride stems from. Oh, I know exactly who you are. Hannibal intelligently announced, leaning against your bedroom wall whilst he folded his arms together and eyed down the good guy doll. Mr. Charles Lee Ray. Well. It seems that I'm more well known than I thought. Flashing a devious smirk towards the psychiatrist in dark amusement, Chucky's fury faded slightly, the slasher feeling increasingly more devilishly entertained with every passing second instead. I seriously didn't mean to throw you. Giving the toy another light laugh, you breathed out as in relief and did your best to keep the situation calm. Saying sorry a second time while it's also trying to brighten the mood. Honestly, that was my mistake. You can't actually think of forgiving this freak. Norman tearfully bursted out, disliking Chucky right off the bat and glaring at him with nothing but venomous hate. I have to agree. Penny sided with the other slasher darkly, grasping a parking knife and staring the doll down as well. I say we throw you in the fire. The fuck? The fire? Why me? Chucky yelled back at the two in a vicious voice, holding a knife with one hand and swiping back at them in return. Seriously, nobody likes you anyway, mate. Freddy wickedly hummed, holding his fingerknives up before swinging his gloves down and slashing towards the good guy doll as piercingly as he could. Let's face it. Whoa, let's take it down a notch. There's absolutely no reason or need for that. You panicked in alarm, holding the Dream Demon's hand and pushing it down with a hurried expression. Then what do you expect us to do? Norman stuttered sulkily, hating the doll with vengeance, Wilt simply glaring at him. We don't exactly have a soft spot for him, dearest. Hannibal calmly informed you, the psychiatrist bringing up how little respect they held for said toy and how much they even cared for this Charles Lee Ray. I mean, no offense, but there's not a lot we can do for him altogether. He's the Lakeshore Strangler. You're kidding me! Well, you hear this, you sons of bitches. I'm gonna get you for this. I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna get Eddie for this too, no matter what! Chucky retorted coolly, lacking respect for your friends after swiping his knife towards them too. Chapter 56. A good guy fighting? We don't exactly have a soft spot for him, dearest. I mean, no offense, but there's not a lot we can do for him altogether. He's a Lakeshore Strangler. You're kidding me! Well, you hear this, you sons of bitches. I'm gonna get you for this. I'm gonna get you, and I'm gonna get Eddie for this too, no matter what. I'm sorry, okay? I didn't mean to throw you. And also, I'm sorry that not only your friend betrayed you on the 9 o'clock news, but my friends won't accept or respect you either. That my friends won't expect you to respect you either. You comforted Chucky in a soft tone, holding his wrist with your left hand so you could move his knife down. The fuck are you sorry for? The red-haired toy commented curiously, narrowing his eyes and staring you up with confusion instead of your fellow partners. It's Eddie's fault, not yours. So what the hell are you apologizing for, huh? As long as you don't try and strangle me again or attempt to stab me, I suppose I don't mind letting you stay here for a little while, out of sight and out of mind from the police, and avoid getting caught from the cops. You hesitantly offered, attempting to be generous and make him feel somewhat better due to his past friend's betrayal. Stay here for a while. Chucky repeated mischievously, throwing the rest of the slashers a secondary, sadistic smirk as he started to consider your request. That's not too bad of a deal there, girlie. No fucking way. Repeating his past rejection, Freddy became insanely enraged again, delving directly into Chucky's thoughts and figuring out what the good guy almost wanted to do at once. There is no way that little shit is staying here. You promised me my freedom, remember? You hummed angelically, shrugging before raising your eyebrows and sighing. Besides, apart from pulling a silly little prank and messing around with Miguel, Chucky hasn't really done anything else wrong. Exactly! Chucky chipped in excitingly, lowering his knife as he clapped his hands together. See? This bitch is so nice! I like her already! Call Wyatt that again? I dare you. Norman icily threatened, glaring down towards the male toy and gripping his hands together, stepping towards him with nothing but disgusted hate. Okay, goddamn, calm down, I don't even know this bitch's name. Cutting himself off, Chucky trailed off awkwardly, noticing not only Norman glaring at him, but Miguel, Pennywise, and Hannibal glancing at him too. All of your partners judging the toy straight off the bat. So she's caught playing, huh? What does it matter to you? Pennywise defensively snapped at him, standing next to you, as he also stared down at the doll. Why, I might have offered you a safe place here, but the rest of us don't like you, and we certainly don't trust you, so back the fuck off, buddy. Pennywise does have a valid point there. Okay. Hannibal sided with the other killer politely. Politely, huh? Curling his arm around your waist while he held you from the right side. Ever since we, well, mostly Kruger and Pennywise, sensed soul power within you, and you started switching spots, we stopped believing that you ever had genuine good guy intentions. Damn right we did! Norman cried out in distress, pointing out at Chucky and trying to make you hate him almost instantly. It's because you're an abomination, an outrage against nature. You're nothing but an evil pervert, and you have to be. You have to be stopped. Norman, how can you say something so horrible? Oh my lord. You explained with a hurt gaze, not expecting him to dip down to such emotional blackmail. He's nothing but a doll. Why would you even go that for? This is why I choked this motherfucker. Kill him! Kill him now! Strangle him! Don't let go! Chucky shouted back at Norman sadistically. Hostility flowing from his tone as he decided to attack the tearful killer himself. And you know what I'm going to do to you afterwards. I'm going to cut off your shabby little looking legs too. You're insane! Norman frantically yelled, smacking the doll back to the floor and using Chucky's knife to slice him in retaliation. I've done nothing wrong here, so leave me the hell alone! Well, to be fair, you did set him off there, not gonna lie. Freddy devilishly cooed, the dream demon intentionally trying to wind Norman up and mess around with him by this point. He deliberately tried to make him seem like the doll was evil. I mean, it is. And even tried to kick him out of the house for whatever reason. If I do purposely recall, you also attempted to do the same, and also kick the doll out. The psychiatrist pointed out pleasantly, reminding Freddy of his previous behavior and his cunning mannerisms, so I'd refrained from trying to act too innocent there, Kruger. True. I guess I did do that. He chuckled slyly, messing around with his fingernails whilst he pondered over his past actions before he fake sighed. But then he lost his dark amusement and smile, narrowing his eyes again as he regained his huge hatred towards the entire situation. But excuse me, I want a reason for the fucking use of hypocil in the first place, bitch. Not to mention being rudely mistaken for this little son of a bitch right here. You little bastard! Excuse me. You stupid bastard! You should have been thankful for even being mistaken for someone as infamous as me to begin with. You arrogant asshole! Chucky shrieked at the demonic slasher angrily, striking up a new conflict with Freddy instead of continuing his first argument over there with Norman. Thankful! Thankful! You expect to be thankful to be taken for a selfish, bratty little shit like you? Freddy wildly laughed back, reacting to Chucky's comment as condescending as he usually would. Sorry, kid, but I don't believe in fairy tales. So, you should listen to your mother from time to time. Oh, my bad. You can't because she's already dead now, isn't she? Freddy, why on earth would you say something like that? You gasped in alarm, coming to Chucky's defense and standing in front of the doll, so that your partner wouldn't take a swing at this Charles Lee Ray guy either. That's probably a really painful part of his past to bring up. Bitch, please, give me a break. That ain't the most painful... that ain't painful in the slightest for this motherfucker. The dream demon sneered evilly, doing his best to not only be cold-hearted but cruel towards him too. How do you know that? You sharply responded, irritation flowing from your tone, which you stayed sounding exasperated and annoyed. Because this asshole was the psycho that killed her! Chapter 57. Sorry, excuses. Shock flew through your veins like fire, surprise spiraling across your face within mere seconds as you suddenly took in that what your partner just said. Wait, what? You faintly stammered, taking a step to the side of your bedroom before flashing a glance towards the suspicious-looking good guy doll. What Kruger speaks is the honest truth, I'm afraid, YN. Hannibal calmly agreed, placing his hand softly on your shoulder before giving it a gentle squeeze a second or two afterwards. After all, he's a Lakeshore Strangler. He's not just a doll. He's just like us. His real name isn't just Chucky, nor is it Charlie. You're interacting with Charles Lee Ray here, remember? Born on May 1st in Hackensack, New Jersey, to a loving set of parents named Peter and Elizabeth Ray. But I don't understand. You question with a confused expression, still not comprehending his motivation or reasoning. Why would you Why would you kill your own mother? Did you really hate her that much? Nah, not really. Chucky chuckled impishly, finding your confusion and uneasiness to be moderately amusing. I just couldn't give a less of a fuck. I just didn't care. I helped another serial killer back in the day, and in return, he gave me advice. One, that I should always cover my tracks, like wiping the blood off my pocket knife before handing it back to me and all that. He was very, very helpful. Oh, I see. You uncomfortably responded, trying to see things from his point of view and be somewhat reasonable at the exact same time. How, helpful of him, I suppose. Well, Ryan, this has been fun explaining my past and everything, but I gotta go. I have a date with not only killing my full accomplice, but also making sure that a certain detective has a date with death. He talked uncaringly, brushing towards your bedroom door and attempting to leave. Hang on a second. You bursted out in a worried tone, grabbing his right wrist and stopping him from moving. If you leave now and head back into town, you risk not only being found by the cops and police again, but you also risk being caught by everybody else regardless. So what? What do I care? You don't think that I can take out and oh my god, my English. You don't think I can take on anybody else? The doll sharply retaliated, acting highly defensive and fiercely hurt all of a sudden. You've got a lot of nerve thinking that I can't defend myself around here, you stupid, stupid bitch. Uh, um, no, that's not really what I meant, he timidly replied, realizing his wrist, releasing his wrist before feeling extremely awkward. Yeah, that's crazy. No, 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 no. Don't take this. Don't take it, girl. Let him leave. Let him leave. Oh, no, that's not what I really meant, he timidly replied, releasing his wrist before now just feeling extremely awkward. I'm sorry. All I really meant was that I didn't think it would be very safe for you to head back into town this early again. And this is why I didn't think him staying here was a particularly good idea. Hannibal spoke softly, continuing to stand by her side as he carried on with his respectful conversation. You mustn't take it too personally, Bellissima, but I don't think he's a very good future guest for you, or us. What with his vulgar language, violent tendencies, and overall lack of social skills. The fuck? You got some sort of problem with me, mate? Is that it? Why don't you just shut the fuck up already? Before I kick your fucking teeth in. Chucky snapped back at the psychiatrist with force, disliking how the other slasher was slacking him off once he whirled around and faced the room again, hating Hannibal's unmistakable little provocation in the process. Mm-hmm. The usual, my favorite. Fighting with the stuck-up jackass, I see. Freddy drawled wickedly, leaning against the opposite side of your bedroom wall as he also folded his arms together. I like it. I like it. Freddy, please, don't start anything that I'm gonna have to fix later. You annoyingly sighed, pressing a hand against your forehead before suppressing a disappointed groan simply a minute or two afterwards. All I wanted was to offer a safe space towards this guy, that's all. But why? Norman wailed in distress, complaining and going against your idea without even considering giving Chucky or your plan a chance. Why let him stay here? He's completely and utterly evil! All he did was try to frame Mikhail and mess around a little bit. You muttered with sarcasm, raising your eyebrows again before rolling your eyes a tiny bit and looking at Norman sternly. Sweetie, he literally tried to strangle you moments before. Penny sorely pointed out, acting vastly possessive, whilst purposely standing in between you and the doll. Doesn't that bother you? even in the slightest? I was just startled. That's all. Come on, girl, chill out. I'll make you that deal. Chucky explained frustratingly, trying to accept your sudden offer. I swear, I'll let you live. Let me live? You blankly repeated, surprised by the red-haired doll's promise and wondering just what exactly Chucky had in mind. Was he really willing to stay here with you and the rest of the slashers? All to avoid the authorities? Like I said, fucker, no. Freddy growled back at him hatefully, holding out his fingernails while also stepping in front of you. Why can't you just take the hint and fuck off already? Nobody even likes you here, asshole. Oh, and you just assume that people like you here? You good for nothing piece of shit. Chucky venomously retaliated, both males hating each other virtually within 60 seconds. You knew that Freddy barely got along with Jason, Mikael, Norman, Hannibal, Pennywise, or Billy and Stu, but geez Louise, with your life starting to feel more and more like some sort of realistic slasher fic. If only you knew. Bet that I will have more of a reputation than you do, bitch. The demonic slasher gloated boastfully, showing off and acting as arrogant and as inhumanely possible. More of a fandom, more of a fan base, more and more viewers, and most of all, probably more Krueger. Mr. Ray, I think that's way more than enough, so please do be quiet. For once. Hannibal cut in uncaringly, shutting down their arguing without any difficulty whatsoever. This is about our dear Ryan's safety, not about shouting over who gets the highest amount of popularity. Fucking hell, what is it with you guys, huh? Chucky snapped at him with infuriation, clenching his fists together before stomping his foot against the floor fiercely afterwards. I'm done. Fuck all to y'all bastards. So back the fuck off already. You psychos barely even know me. All I'm doing here is accepting a deal. Speaking of which, that's why I'm going to have to unfortunately agree with the rest of the others over there. The psychiatrist mentioned patronizingly, flashing an unusually condescending smile towards the doll. You staying with us, living with us, hanging with us, and being around our precious YN would only cause nothing but a numerous amount of problems. Though, not just for us. You snobbish, filthy little prick! The male toy snarled in rage, picking up straight away that Hannibal purposely wanted him out of the way, just as much as the other slasher serial killers did. I'm not stupid, you know? I can see right through you, idiot. You want to drive me out that badly? You're gonna have to try a lot harder than that. You, the clown, the wimp over there, the stalker, and those weird teenage boys, and that sorry excuse of a dream demon over there, too. I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just say about me, you little bitch? Freddy hissed at Chucky vindictively, stepping forwards before gritting his teeth and glaring at the opposite murderer with an intensive amount of animosity. Sorry excuse? Oh, I don't think so. If anything, you're the sorry excuse for a serial killer around here, fuckface. To be perfectly honest, I think all of you are acting like sorry excuses for adults. You curtly announced, folding your arms as you intentionally released a sigh of exasperation. Not just Freddy, Chucky, and Norman, but Hannibal too. Why me? Norman stammered from surprise, shock causing the timid male to stare at you with an extremely stunned expression. I'm presuming you must have also have a reason for including and insulting myself along with these three then? Hannibal mulled over his comment carefully, a strangely unstable smile spreading suspiciously across his face before he turned to look straight towards you instead of Chucky. There must be. Mustn't there, YN? Chapter 58. Reason and Request. I do have a reason, actually. You confidently replied, acting firm and continuing to cross your arms as you faced all of the slashers in your room at the very same time. That meant Freddy, Hannibal, Penny, Mikael, Norman, and the infamous Charles E. Ray / aka / Lakeshore killer himself, also known as Chucky. Oh, you do? Now do you? Hannibal repeated softly, his unstable smile twisting into one of a dark playfulness when he mischievously decided talking to you instead of the doll. And would you perhaps mind sharing that specific piece of information with us, by any chance? Well, I'm sure. I guess not. You agreed with a hesitant tone of voice, feeling slightly intimidated once the psychiatrist curled his left arm around your waist. This man, I hate this. You agreed with a hesitant tone of voice, feeling slightly intimidated once the psychiatrist curled his left arm around your waist and cupped the left side of your cheek delicately with the palm of his right hand. There you go. I'm glad. I hate to be a nuisance and become an inconvenience to you after all. He sweetly murmured against your lips. This man, ooh, his hold on you becoming excessively more gentle than the other slasher's embrace. I'm not, am I, YN? No, you're not. You're not. That's not what I meant. You quickly protested, internally panicking due to not wanting to sound like a bully and provoke the dark-haired male. All I meant was I could see why you were purposely trying to push him out. So you weren't trying to intentionally insult me and attempting to accuse me of being a sorry excuse for an adult, like you had with those other three over there? No! He knows what he's doing! That's funny. He really said. Period! Hannibal questioned politely, but behaving almost as if your previous mark had hurt him in some sort of way or another. No? You responded with an unsure attitude. Ay, ay, ay. Shifting from foot to foot and feeling your embarrassment rise, but get in the fucking car! Like, stop. Feeling your embarrassment rise by every passing second. I just didn't want you or the other three to act so rude towards someone I offered a safe place to. So, if we were to accept what you wanted and agree with your recent deal between you and that other serial killer, would you please go back on your word and take back what you said about me, mi amata? Okay, he tenderly inquired, caressing your cheek with his thumb as lightly as he possibly could before continuing on with the conversation. I, personally, don't mind if your thoughts about everyone else stays the same. In fact, I actually think you were partially correct when making the statement beforehand, but that's quite enough of that. Just as Hannibal was about to finish his condescending comment regarding the other killers, he got shoved straight across the other side of their bedroom, crashing right into your room's back wall, while someone else stepped directly in front of you and glared. Penny, why did you do that? You explained in alarm, your eyes widening when you saw a certain clown smack Hannibal and growl his words furiously. We were only talking about our past conversation, and about the previous deal I was just about to discuss with Chucky. Oh, sweetie pie, why do you always have to act so adorable? Pennywise cooed affectionately, releasing a sigh of adoration shortly afterwards once he spun around to speak to you. I mean, really, it's like you were trying to make me take out everyone here. Well, except for Hannibal. He was just asking for what happened to his sorry ass. Asking for it? How so? You asked with a sarcastic tone of voice. Y'all, we all know, please. We all know why. Me and the readers, the listeners, we all know why. I hope we do. Let's just pretend we're on the same page. Just smile and nod. Smile and nod. Anyways, you asked with a sarcastic tone of voice, looking a tad bit annoyed by Penny's cold remark while also feeling relatively concerned over Hannibal's unforeseen assault. I don't recall him ever doing anything, at least not in particular. Couldn't agree more. Freddy smugly cut in, disappearing and reappearing to the left side of you before he possessively played with a few strands of your hair, running his fingernails seductively through the rest of your beautiful-looking locks. In my opinion, that motherfucker got exactly what he deserved, toying with your feelings like that and trying to change your mind about him as long as he did what you wanted. Seriously, what a shut up! Norman shouted at the dream demon selfishly, jealousy dripping from his sudden shriek while he flung himself instantly at Freddy, dragging his pocket knife slowly but surely through the sadistic slasher's chest. Hannibal isn't the only one who's trying to mess around with Ryan's feelings. You are too. Delusional. Completely and utterly delusional. To think that I'd stoop to such low levels, simply to switch your mindset. Hannibal talked as if after he swiftly regained balance and climbed to his feet again, shooting you a sorrowful smile seconds later. Of course, you can obviously tell that this is all about not only Kruger's and Pennywise's present jealousy, but Norman's too. No, this is not all of all out of their present jealousy, you argued sternly, standing your ground and stepping into the middle of your bedroom, breaking away from the group and forcing Hannibal to stay where he was. Chucky staring you up with a bewildered expression as he tilted his head with nothing but with the utmost of confusion. No? Then what do you think their words and remarks towards not only Mr. Ray, but myself as well, are based on? The intelligent psychiatrist asked you with an innocent smirk, his multiple questions making you feel uneasy while you attempted to calm down everybody in the room. Their words are based on you being manipulative again, because for one, I'm not blind. It feels like you are. And two, all I wanted to do was offer Chucky a place to stay, to avoid the current police officers and cops. You stubbornly explained, taking a deep breath in before breathing straight out a second time. Anyway, being betrayed by your former friend doesn't sound very fun. At least not to me. Besides, you even told me when I first moved in here. What yours is mine, remember? Therefore, I'm allowed to invite any guest I want over. She really remembering whenever it benefits her a lot, girl. Okay, girl. You need to start remembering whenever, like, they literally blackmailed you and tried to kill your mom if you didn't move in with them. So let's start remembering that. But he's nothing more than a doll! Norman wailed rudely, flinging his arms around your waist whilst he resorted to crying and hiding his face into your chest instead. How is he a proper guest? What gives him the right to stay here? This isn't about rights or privileges. You reprimanded the upset male killer strongly, throwing Norman a serious stare before carrying on with what you decided to go for. This is about what I want, and all I ask is that you guys don't argue or go against my latest offer towards somebody else, alright? That has got to be the dumbest request I've ever heard. Why the fuck would I ever agree to something like that? Freddy snapped heatedly, slashing at your bedroom wall with his fingerknives and causing several rips to ruin your wallpaper in the process. What's the problem? You live in the dream realm. Chucky lives in the real world. I don't understand why you're so upset by my decision. You annoyingly retorted, ignoring the dream demon's childish temper tantrum as you casually rolled your eyes. Kruger, at least try to keep your babyish and emotional outburst to yourself. Hannibal slightly sighed, disapproval flickering across his facial features once he noticed how immature Freddy was reacting to the outcome of the conversation's certain results. Geez, yeah, it's not that bad. Although suspicious of the doll, Penny shrugged and dipped his head as a nod, deciding to go along with what you wanted, for now. It's not like it's not like what she wants is going to cause the end of the world or anything. Listen, I'm sorry, okay? I'll make you a deal. I'll drop the high pull sill, and you can come into my dreams again. I won't go back on my word, I promise. You guaranteed truthfully, offering him something in return. Offer you this fucking middle finger, how about that? Oh no, I have to cut so much stuff out. He slightly hummed, interested by what you presented and such. How do I know that you'll keep your word? I'll do it right now. Watch me. You spoke in a bold tone of voice, going into your drawer and receiving the pills. See? Look, Norman can have them. But Ryan! Norman protested with alarm, panicking over your health and freaking out. What about you? Don't worry. You consoled him kindly. I'll be just fine. They're just pills. And are you sure about this? Chucky double-checked doubtfully, shifting from foot to foot as he socialized with you again. I've done it before.
Besides, didn't you want somewhere to hide from the police and the cops? You brought up a second time, shooting him a thoughtful smile before you crouched down and held out your hand as a friendly sign/peace offering. You sure you won't regret it? Narrowing his eyes and sounding suspicious, he cautiously agreed to your compromise, shaking your hand reluctantly while he behaved not only unsure, but hesitant too. You could get into a lot of trouble for this, you know. Oh, believe me, you declared in amusement. This wouldn't be the first time I've gotten into trouble with the authorities before. We are in chapter 59, Proving Innocence. Seriously? Chuggy questioned curiously, behaving almost as if he was actually inquisitive and interested by your previous comment. I wouldn't expect somebody like you to get into as much trouble as those fuckers over there. Oh, Jesus. I have to hide my relationship with these guys multiple times over and over again. You told him with a light laugh, Pennywise shooting the doll a cold-blooded glare before he disappeared into thin air and decided to leave the room. But that doesn't make any sense. Why even stay with them in the first place? The ginger-haired doll inquired bluntly, pointing towards the rest of them once Penny had vanished. Hey, she stays with us because she loves us. What's your problem? Norman snapped at him in frustration, clenching his fist as he gritted his teeth and stomped his foot. Who said I had a problem, huh? The doll shrugged uncaringly, trying to pick a fight with Norman and annoy him on purpose. Maybe I actually like your company as of right now, asshole. Oh my. I had no idea that the famous Lakeshore Strangler would actually come to appreciate our precious YN. Hannibal hummed angelically, his innocent yet devilish words striking a chord with Chucky this morning. Whoa. Now just wait a minute, you anxiously protested, freaking out while suddenly feeling uneasy. I'm sure that's not what he's trying to imply when mentioning his previous comment about liking me. Exactly. For fuck's sake, she could be more than helpful to me than you bastards ever could. Chucky retaliated in a fury manner, agitated by the psychiatrist's current taunting and teasing as he insulted your partners and complimented you instead. Oh, really now? Freddy sneered with a spiteful voice, his smirk and jeering tone only adding to Hannibal's underlying disrespect and discordantness. I doubt that, but if you honestly think that, then go straight ahead and be my guest, you little shit. Can you two stop arguing for one moment, please? You pleaded desperately, seeing straight through Hannibal's manipulative mindset and shutting it down immediately. There's something I have to do right now. Something you have to do. Like what? Can't be that important, can it? Chucky repeated offhandedly, his lack of empathy shining through whilst he showed how little he cared about others. But it was important, at least to you, because basically about you blaming Mikael, la-dee-dee. It's really long. I don't want to read it because I've read it before, and it's whenever you accused Mikael of peeping you at the shower when it was fact, Chucky with Mikael's mask. So, long story short. Hey guys, so this is this is not really a time skip. I just kind of skipped to the next chapter because it says the same thing on the bottom as it does here at the very beginning. The rest of 59 was just like all the memories of like all the anger, basically all the stuff we already read over, so don't worry about it, y'all. Got y'all. Anyways, we are in chapter 60, Sorrowful Apology. Like, apologize to someone important. You declared in a determined tone of voice, asking everyone except Mikael to leave your bedroom. What, huh? Chucky questioned confusedly, curiosity dripping from his tone as he grew more and more bewildered by your unanticipated and unexpected request. Please, guys, this is important. If not to you guys, then to me. You begged helplessly, despair and distress flooding through your veins whilst you glanced pleadingly from Slasher to Slasher. Certainly, Angelo mio. Hannibal agreed immediately, flashing you a sweet smile before planting a gentlemanlike kiss to the tip of your hand and turning around to politely leave your room. But Norman hatefully protested, his selfishness and obsessiveness towards you shining through. You always let me stay. And why does Myers get to stay, huh? The fuck's up with that? Freddy chipped in with furious jealousy, his usual dark mirth crumbling as he decided to stand directly where he was. His knifed glove held out with strange aggravation. "Because this is something I just have to do," you strongly explained, doing everything you could to fight back and show your willpower. "Besides, I already promised you that I'd visit you in my dreams, well, my nightmares. So do me a favor and leave me be, at least for this morning." "Oh, this isn't over, princess," the dream demon drawled darkly, possessiveness gleaming throughout his tone while he snatched at your wrist with his left hand. "You have a lot to fucking make up for, actually. Kruger, leave Ryan be. Now. She doesn't need to be pestered by a lowlife like you anymore this morning." Hannibal interjected coldly, literally wrenching Freddy's left arm backwards and freeing your wrist a second or two later. "If she has something she needs to tend to, then that means we should give her the time and space she requires." "But that's bullshit," the dream demon snapped, losing his temper out of nowhere and behaving unexpectedly frustrated. "If the stalker gets to stay, then no way!" Norman shrieked in childishly, breaking down as he joined their petty argument. "That is so unfair! If Freddy and Mikael get to stay, then I do too." "So this happens often, does it?" Chucky asked you carelessly, slightly amused once he promised to leave you alone for a bit. "Don't worry about it." You muttered towards the doll with tiredness, wondering if the slashers would actually listen to what you wanted and if they actually leave you alone and Mikael to yourself. Basically, leave you and Mikael alone. "Norman, please stop acting like such a child. You're causing our dearest Ryan to feel uncomfortable. And would you ever want to purposely do that? Excuse me. And you would never want to purposely do that. Now, would you?" The psychiatrist pleasantly pointed out, forcing Norman to stiffen up and feel guilty instead. Of course not." Norman stammered tearfully, throwing you a panicked look and flinging his arms around you from the side in alarm. "I would never want to do that." "Well then, if you would rather not be the cause of that, then wouldn't it make more sense to give her what she desires and just leave her be?" Hannibal continued in a respectable fashion, leading him on and messing with his mindset at the same time. Does that tool ever know what that psycho's true intention is with those words?" Chucky muttered back towards you quietly, standing halfway between you and the bedroom door. "Probably not." You replied softly, finding Norman's obliviousness and overbearing hug to be oddly adorable. "But I don't think it really matters. Not anymore, anyway." "But Kruger!" Norman wailed woefully, his weeping forcing the dream demon to smugly smirk and wiggle his finger knives at him in a fake friendly wave. "Freddy will be leaving too. So Norman, please leave the room while I discuss something important with Mikael." You sighed with annoyance, your response making Norman feel upset once more. But even so, he finally gave in and left your side, heading into the hallway after saying a sad little "fine." "What, you expect me to just bounce?" Freddy sneered at you spitefully, leaning back against your wall with crossed arms. "Not gonna happen, bitch. Read my mind, and you'll change yours." You responded uninterestingly, already knowing the sadistic killer would react this way. "Why? What's in it for—" Oh, I like the sound of that. He psychotically grinned, his evil hum making you roll your eyes while he pushed himself off the wall and stood straight in front of you instead. Then, once he curled his left arm around your waist and tugged you closer to him, he caressed, your hair wickedly with his gloved hand, his gaze suddenly gleaming with unhinged and creepy excitement. "You promise?" "Yeah, sure, now bounce." Raising your eyebrows with sarcasm, you accepted what he wanted and grasped his shoulders, pushing him away so he'd actually vanish into thin air. "I'll catch up with you later, okay? Devil spawn? Catch you later, sweet face." Freddy purred seductively back at you, blowing you a flirty kiss. Blowing you a flirty kiss before popping literally out of existence. "I assume that means I'll talk to you downstairs then. Whenever you're ready, Miyakata," Hannibal mentioned delicately, shooting you another smile before leaving your bedroom himself. But Chucky just sort of stood there, a puzzled look plastered across his face as he stared back up at you. "That's how it should be, shorty." Because that's exactly what the fuck he gets. Anyways, Is everything all right? You wondered worriedly, bending down to his level and decided to talk to him so he didn't think about fighting the others or simply going ballistic as a whole. You look like a little lost there. I hope you don't think I'm actually kicking you out of the house or anything like that. You don't, do you? Nah, I don't. Chucky cut you off without any look of care or consideration. It's just, well, what? You shyly echoed, praying that he wasn't going to attack you, Mikael, or say anything that was slightly unneeded. Where the fuck am I supposed to go? He questioned bluntly. His remark causing you to lightly laugh before covering your lips. So, sorry. How about you just wait in the hallway for now? Then I'll cook you some breakfast like I usually do for the others. You decided warmly, stopping your giggles for a minute while you watched him abruptly nod and follow your words, leaving you and Mikael to be the last two people in the room. But then the smile rapidly drained from your face, remembering the serious task you had forced yourself to endure. And that was to clear things up with Mikael. So, after taking a deep breath and shutting your bedroom door uneasily behind Chucky, you spun around and faced the familiar, pale-faced stalker head-on, highly scared of how this would go. Still, though, this was no time for cowardness. There was no time for backtracking. This was no time for backtracking. So, Mikael? Silence passed. We all know who did it now. You anxiously mentioned, folding your arms and averting your eyes to the side with an excess amount of embarrassment. It wasn't you. It was Chucky. The doll. More silence. It was wrong of me to blame you, to accuse you, when I had no proof, no evidence. Even more silence passed. So what I mean to say is that I'm fumbling over your words, tears streaked down your cheeks. Your thoughts freaking out from stress and your hands clasping at your chest as you ended up whispering your last part of your apology in a tiny tone of voice. I'm sorry. We will find out how he reacts to this apology in the next video. Because y'all, we will find out very soon, hopefully. Some side notes going in before we get, because these are pretty important. I do plan on finishing this story this year. I am thinking of doing potential lives, just reading along. I am trying to figure out how to put the reading screen or my casting my screen onto the live as well, so you guys can kind of see what where I'm reading and whatnot. I kind of am not sure how I'm gonna be dealing with the ads and stuff. I'm not sure. I don't really I know it's going to be a little bit annoying. I'm trying to figure that out too. But I definitely plan on reading this and finishing it this year. If that means going live and reading with you guys for hours or whatever, or just reading it on my own on live, you guys can join if you'd like, and I'll add that to the playlist. It won't maybe be as great with the sound effects or whatnot. There may not be any sound effects, but you know what? I think it'll be a great read along. I can maybe add some music to the background. I'm not sure. What I do know is that this story will be finished this year, y'all. That is my number one goal for this. That's my number one goal, in my mind, is getting this book read and done for you guys, so we can immediately move on. Guess what? To the new continuation of this book. This is not over, y'all. This is not over until the author says it's over. But anywho, y'all, I hope you guys did enjoy this, and sorry for the random side info or whatnot. I will be posting it on the communities, by the way, so don't worry about it too much. I'll keep you guys updated. I will do an upcoming live stream, this and that. We'll figure something out. It will not be perfect. I will let y'all know right now, it will not be perfect. But I will definitely do my best to give you guys a quality stream or something you can listen to. Anywho,
what do you guys think Mikau's response, is gonna be to this apology? Will he be angry? Will he not accept? Let me know in the comments down below. If I was him, I wouldn't know what to do. I mean, imagine being blamed for something that you did not do for weeks on end, endlessly, by not only the people around you, but the one you love the most or obsessed with or whatever the most. To when the truth is revealed, they come back to you cowering like a dog with like their tail in between their legs. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how I would feel if I was in my Miguel's position. So I don't know. But we're about to find out very soon, y'all, whether it be a video or a live stream. But I sadly have to cut this short, y'all. If you have any questions, any suggestions, or anything like that, please let me know in the comments down below. I am doing my best to respond to comments, questions, and whatnot. And sadly, your girls gotta go. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more amazing videos, guys. Bye. Peace, y'all.